G'day everybody and welcome back. I hope everybody had a great Easter. I went away for a few days down with the family, and yeah, I haven't had a lot of time in the workshop, to be honest. But what I have done, Dad and I brought a zero-turn mower about 7 years ago. Big Cub Cadet 60-inch cut, and I've brought it home just to give it a really good clean up, give it a good once over, and fix a couple of things that have been annoying the hell out of me for ages. And I'll show you the first thing I want to fix, because it's driving me nuts. Every time I go and use it and mow the big block, it just absolutely drives me nuts. It's simple, but it drives me nuts. That's what I want to do, just quickly make up some new pins and just fix the issue. But anyway, I'll spin you around and we'll have a quick look. I know the lighting's not all the best, but it is what it is. So this is 60-inch Cub Cadet LZ tank, or tank LZ. Beautiful mower to drive, very comfortable. It's done about 1,100 hours. But I'll show you the one thing that really gets up my nose every time I drive it. Righto. So this is what really annoys me, is the twist in these handles. Every time you go to push forward, and when you pull back it moves. I know it's trivial, but it just sends me, I don't know why, it just drives me nuts. So I'm going to pull one off. It's got a couple of nylon bushes in here, but I'll pull it off and we'll have a look, see what I can do to fix it. But yeah, it's one of them things, it's a pet hate. You can see it in there. So it's got a couple of like half moon collets in there, if you want to call bushes, plastic bushes. But I suspect the actual hole through this pipe, the handle, is flogged out. So anyway, I'll get one off and we'll have a look. Drop the nut down the back here. Just give that a little tap. It's definitely stuck in there, right? Give it a little pin punch. The bolt don't seem warm, just dirty. Where did the other one go? Just drop one of those little bloody half moon things, just got to find it. There it is. Stop looking, I found it. Right, yeah, so what we have is a sleeve and just a 3/8 step bolt. So that goes over there, that goes through this hole, which that's where we get, I'm not showing you real good, so that's where we get the movement in the arm, is there. So by the time that goes on, this goes over top, you're still going to get movement. So what I've got to do is make this a nominal size, I think, and make up a new sleeve, if I can get it off, make up a new sleeve with a 3/8 bore, and yeah, to fit this hole a bit more neater so it's not as sloppy. It's got to have some sort of play in it because it's got a hinge on it, but yeah, not as bad as what it is. I'll work out what I'm going to do here, what sizes, and make up a couple of new sleeves because the other side needs doing as well. I think first off I'll take this pipe off here, just make it easier to hold it in the vise in the mill so I can bore this out. Okay, I have spent a bit of time stuffing around setting this up. I didn't show it on camera because I was just fiddling around really. I believe I've got it this bore as square as I can get it. I've set up the 2-inch boring bar and successfully lost the boring bar I used to always use, and I cannot find it for the hell of it. I just cannot find it. It's gone. But this can be a good opportunity to use the auto power feed on the quilt too. So I've set the depth, and I'm just going to advance the tool a fraction and let it do a pass down and see what it does. And then whatever it turns out to be the bore size, once it all cleans up, I'll make the new bush to suit. A bit of chatter. That's nothing unusual. I'll change that tip out because that probably is getting a bit ordinary, that tip, and give it another pass. Okay, I'm just going to run that through again and see what it does. Just put a little cut on actually. First time I've used the boring head on this mill. I've just had a good look, and I'm going to leave it where it is. It's cleaned up all the way, so leave it where it is so that each side is true to each other, and I'll get on to making the bush. As you can see, it's cleaned up. Didn't take a lot out, it's just enough to true it all up, because the holes were egg shaped. So I'll find a bit of material. So it's a 3/8 bore. It's good as a 3/8 bore. It's got to have a bit of slop in it. Yeah, 14.4 this way. As you can see, that's only 1/2 inch. Got some new plastic there. I'll make up some new half moon collars. Okay, I've got a piece of bar set up here. It's 22mm basically. It's got to go down to 14.4 for a length of 35.78. Theoretically that should be 15. $14.99. We're going to go to 14.4. I'm going to slow the feed right down. Double check myself on this measurement here first. Make sure I'm not going to screw this up. Yeah, 14.58. It's got to have a little bit of play. 14.45 is what I've decided. $14.47. Close enough, eh? That's good. It's got a little bit of play, which it's got to have some. Anyway, it's got to have a 3/8 hole drilled and reamed. Going to put this in about 40 mil. Okay, I've got to ream that now. It's got a burr on it. Okay, that had a little burr on the end of this bolt here. So that's a good fit. Part it off, spin it around, then bring it to length then actually. So the end length is 35.78. So yeah, 35.78 with 3mm part until I'm going to part off at 39, and then I'll dress it up. That's it. And if I've done everything half right, it should be nearly right. Point 0.01 off. Not a bad guess. Okay, I've got some of this acetal, if you want to, I think that's how you pronounce it. I know it's major oversized, but that's all I've got. So I'm going to face it off, bring it down to dimension, bore the center, and then put in the mill, come in with an inch cutter and put the scallop in. Then I have to put it back in the lathe to part it off to length. And these lengths are pretty crucial because where it fits into the frame of the mower. So just hope I get that right. Okay, so I'm going to turn 30 millimeters long down to 22.5 millimeters in diameter, and this is 40. It doesn't have to be a tight fit on them, because they just centralise the arm. So this is the only 1-inch cutter I have, so I'm just going to drop it down and touch off. We have touched off. I just got to zero my handwheel over it, and I have to feed in 6.35 mil. I might actually use the power feed for this. That's it. Okay, take this back out. Rightio. So what I've done here, basically just touched off on these tips. I've measured the original part, and it's 12.6 long. And I'll part this off, and then it'll be to length. And I'll just use a deburring tool to get that tit off the end there. We have a replacement. So when I actually put that last cut with the end mill before, I actually went too deep. So I just had to lengthen this a touch and lengthen the inner bore. So I screwed up the dimensions, is what I'm trying to say, over on the mill. So I'll put this one in the mill now, and I'll put the scallop in this one. Then put it back in here and part it off. That's what we wanted. Gotta be happy with that. So there's our two identical parts, same height. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll go and put it together and see if it's any good. What I've done here, I've put the handle back on, or the bottom section back onto the main arm, and put this together, see if it fits. It does, as long as everything lines up. And should have been a washer here somewhere, and I've lost the washer. I just better find that first. I found the washer. The bloody magnetic base the camera's on was on top of it, and I picked it up, and because the magnet was on, yeah, couldn't find it. You know, we'll do it up and see what it's like. Bolt's tight, so it's nice and free. And best of all, I'll show you. So here's the old one, the original one still. Almost so I got all that out. And looking down into there, which is pretty hard, it's actually the next most wear is in this bit here. Anyway, that's a success. Pretty stoked with that. I'll get into it this afternoon and I'll do the other side. It's exactly the same as what I've done on this side. I'll do it off camera and then bring it back for the final result. So I've got this other side made. Okay, bit of handheld here. Now the other side's back in, as you know, and I am absolutely pretty stoked with how the end results turned out, to be honest. There is, if you look up top up here, I know it's a bit all over the place, but there's a little bit of movement, but that's coming in down the bottom, in that bottom bush down here on the pivot. I'm not going to go ahead and pull that out and rebush that, because there's not a, like, it sounds bad, but it's not that bad overall. The biggest thing is when you're driving it, which I went down the back paddock here and made the back paddock behind our place, so much nicer. It's not, when you go to push on the lever, it's not kicking around, and these used to clash really hard for some reason, but they're not now. But, like, I mean clash hard, they used to touch, but you've actually got to pull them together now. Before, when it was relaxed like that, they used to touch, but they're not touching now. Anyway, that was a good successful fix. Makes it much nicer to use. Well, that's a really good job done and dusted and out of the way. This, I know it's trivial, just that bit of movement, but it's something that drove me nuts. I knew it wasn't right, and when it drives you nuts, it drives you nuts. But I'm glad it's fixed, and it's, yeah, like I say, I mowed the back paddock down here, behind our place here, yesterday afternoon or yesterday evening, and I could tell that, yeah, it was a lot nicer. I wasn't getting frustrated. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. I've just got to go to give this mower a good detail now. Yeah, pull the back wheels off it, gurney inside, or inside the hubs in the back. Pull all the deck plates off it, and yeah, just give it a good clean up, and probably even give it a polish as well. And it's right to go back to work again. Anyway, appreciate you all watching, and hope you've enjoyed that, and see you next week. Hooroo.